Hello, Underneath the Hat podcast. This is Cherie, your host, educator, entrepreneur, mentor, all that jazz. And welcome to Underneath the Hat podcast, season 4. Speak over yourself. So let's get started. Make sure you subscribe and like the YouTube page, Underneath the Hat podcast. You can also check me out on all podcast platforms: Anchor, Overcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, and Pocket Cast. Also, don't forget to please share, post questions, comments. You can even sew into the session via Cash App at $YLAAT 2017 or through Zelle at underneaththehat@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to check out my books. Let me get them so you can see them. Underneath the Hat, and It's That Size for a Reason, are available wherever books are sold, including Amazon. Just type in my name, Cherie Simmons, and they'll come right on up. All right, so this is season 4 of the podcast Underneath the Hat, and our topic this season has been Speak Over Yourself. So for those that are new to the podcast, welcome. But in a couple of weeks, we are counting down now to the final episode of the podcast. On March 18th will be the last episode of this podcast, Underneath the Hat. We've been going strong for 4 years now, and so it's time for me to move on to some new things, and who knows, you might see me pop up on another one. But as far as Underneath the Hat is concerned, we're winding down to the last couple of episodes, and so I decided that I would let you all in to get to know me more. And so every week since December 3rd, when I announced that this will be the last episode, I've been taking a different song title that I like, that expresses what I'm feeling in that moment or a lesson that I've learned, and then I just share more about who I am. So there's been a lot that has been going on since our last visit. For those that watched last week's episode, I was in sunny South Beach, Florida, celebrating my godfather's 60th birthday in Miami, and I was able to go live from the Atlantic Ocean. So go ahead and check out that podcast episode from last week. And I talked about me and being able to focus more on ourselves and not so much on other people. And so this one is from one of my favorite Broadway shows, The Color Purple. I have been blessed to have seen it twice on Broadway, once here in Chicago with Fantasia, and then in New York with Michelle Williams playing Suge Avery. And so there's a song in the play called Hell No. So that is the title of today's episode. And the song basically is Sophia singing to Celie, telling her that she's not going to deal with another man putting his hands on her and basically taking any more crap from other people. And so it's befitting that in my notes that I had created months ago of what the songs will be and on what day, that this one fell on this day at this specific time, with me not knowing what was going to transpire leading up to today. So backstory. And I mentioned this on last week's podcast. My grandmother made her transition about 2 Sundays ago. And so the family is preparing to funeralize her tomorrow, which will be Friday, February 3rd, the day before you all see this episode. And so we've been going through that. And those of you that have ever had to deal with burying someone, funerals bring out, I won't even say the worst in people, it just brings out their true selves to a higher level. And so I am considered, let's just tell the truth, I'm considered the ATM of my family. And so whenever money is needed for anything, I'm the one that they look to. I even had a family member during the process of planning the funeral, when they said that a certain amount of money was needed over the amount that we were told, which wasn't true either. Their first thing out of their mouth was, Cherie's there. That was the response. And you heard crickets from everybody else. And so I had already come in with a plan of action of what I was going to do, how much I was going to give, because I'm not going bankrupt for nobody, because nobody would go bankrupt for me. And so I went in with an amount that I was willing to give and to provide if needed. And it wasn't the amount that was given or asked for, and wasn't really needed after everything was aired out, because the Lord has a way of revealing some stuff and confirming some stuff that he told you. And so it was found out that more money was available than what was told to us. And basically, lies were told. Let's just tell the truth. Lies were told. And if I had been the type of person that they were used to stepping on, like Sophia, and taking advantage of, like Sophia in The Color Purple, they probably would have gotten those 4 figures that they were looking for. But because I said hell no in so many words and put my foot down like Sophia did, God revealed to me that it wasn't needed in the first place. So this song came at the perfect time, with me not even realizing when I wrote it down months ago, as I was planning out my final weeks of this podcast, that this song would be so prevalent to what I was going through now. And so I am glad that this is the song, because planning this funeral, I have realized that people are something else. They will take advantage of you for as long as you let them. They will take advantage of you for as long as you let them. And sometimes you just have to say, hell no. No has become my favorite word in the English language. And it's said pretty much the same in every language. And I love saying it, because it's a full sentence by itself. You don't need to explain it. People know what it means, regardless of what country, what nationality, what background. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows what no means. Babies know what no means. And so this past week and a half, I have had to put my foot down financially. I had to put my foot down mentally and emotionally, and even made a decision to not even attend the funeral because of the disrespect that I was getting before even going to the funeral. And I love my grandmother to death, but I said my goodbye to her. So the funeral is really for the family that's left. And there's no need in me going to be around family that's left that doesn't know how to treat me. So I've said hell no to going to the funeral. And I can honestly say that God has confirmed to me that I'm making the right decision. Because normally, because of my relationship with him, the Holy Spirit will kick in and he'll be like, okay, now, you're wrong. Like, you need to do this. I get that little feeling, that little tingle. And I know it's the Lord, because it's always him picking on me to do something I don't really want to do. And not one time, and this is Thursday, the day before the funeral that I am filming this, not one time has he said, you need to go to that funeral. Even when other people have told me, well, you're going to regret it. No, I won't. Because when I said no to my grandmother, I knew, I was under the impression when we said goodbye that would be my last time physically seeing her. And then people were allowed to adjust the plan and not pay no money to the adjustments. And so the plan changed. So I was okay with not being there. But I just had to put my foot down. And that even meant adjustments being made to the service because I was scheduled to sing. But I've sung to my grandmother. Again, this was for them. She can't hear me. So I wasn't about to go and put on a dog and pony show. I wasn't about to put my peace of mind in anybody's hands to where they can dictate how I felt about something and feel that they could treat me any kind of way. And then I take it and then they keep doing it. So I couldn't get upset with them the next time the disrespect happened if I sat here and made them think that it was okay because I didn't say anything the last time. So this time I said, hell no. And I feel great about it. I really do. I don't feel bad. I now know the people that I'm dealing with now, even though they're family. I was watching something on Instagram that Oprah Winfrey said, sometimes you have to divorce your family and your friends. You do. Because I'm not going to let you, I don't care if you're a parent, sibling, relative, you're not going to disrespect me and I just take it. I can't sit here and talk about self-care and speak over yourself to you all, and I'm not living what I'm speaking. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. And so part of self-love and self-care is taking care of your mental and emotional well-being. And I had to do that by saying, hell no. I'm not going to let you disrespect me. I'm not going to let you lie and take advantage of me anymore. And I don't have to. And so that's my message to everyone that's out here listening. It's okay to say no. And for some people, you have to say hell no because they don't believe you when you say no the first time. Now, people say, oh, you shouldn't curse. Sometimes a good curse word gets the point across, especially those of you that have children. Now, I don't have any, but I work with other people's kids. And Lord knows I didn't have to think it and mumble it a couple of times for somebody else's child. So I can only imagine what you parents have to go through when you have multiple children that you tell them no and they keep doing it again or asking again, and you just have to put that hell no on there for them to get the point. And so I don't feel bad about what I did. And if it happens again, I'm going to do it again. And I just want everybody out there to realize that you are worth being respected. No one should take advantage of you. And for those that haven't seen The Color Purple, please go watch the movie. The message is clear. Sophia got tired of being abused as a kid, and then for her to be in a marriage with someone who was doing the same thing to her that she said she would never have that happen again, she told him, hell no. And she walked away. Even though she had been so accustomed to being in those type of relationships, even though her foundation had been set to where being abused physically, mentally, and emotionally was ingrained in her. She had gotten to a point in her life where she realized, after being exposed to other types of relationships based on the surroundings that she was in, that there was a different way of doing it, that she decided, I don't have to stay in this bubble. I don't have to stay in this box. I don't have to continue to let people treat me the way that they treat me because that's what I was raised around. So she finally said, hell no. And she left Harpo. And so that's my charge to everyone here today. You may have to say hell no to some parents. You're going to have to say hell no to some siblings and some relatives. You're going to have to say hell no to some co-workers and to some friends. And sometimes you're going to have to say it to yourself. Because some situations we put ourselves in. And so it is okay to say no. And for those that don't hear you the first time, put that extra on there and tell them hell no. And mean what you say. And say what you mean. Because you are important. And self-love starts with you. You show people how to treat you. And a part of me had felt bad for a little bit because the person who disrespected me had done it in the past. And I completely cut them off for like 6-7 years. And I was leery of letting them back in, but I was all about people can change. And I was starting to see a little change in the person. But when he pulled the same crap and the way of disrespecting me the second time, the way he had done the first one, no, we ain't doing that. And then for the people to have been in the room and had heard it, but then acted as if they didn't, which let them know and him know that it was okay for him to disrespect me, and they didn't speak up for me, I had to speak up for myself. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't care who don't like it, because I have realized in these 40 years that the people that I thought should have been there to protect me didn't. But God always put people in my life to take the place of those that should have been my protectors. So when family has turned their back on me and wasn't there for me, I was never without, because I was no longer talking to them. Because God provided everything that I needed, and he put people in my circle to fulfill those gaps where those people were not. So don't let people make you feel guilty because you cut off family members or you distance yourself from people who disrespect you because of your bloodline. People always tell the lie, blood is thicker than water. Oh, yeah. Tangibly it is. But I would rather have poisonous water than poisonous blood. Poisonous blood can kill you. So be mindful of that when you let people talk to you any kind of way, regardless of what their relation is to you. You deserve to be respected. And it's okay to say no. And sometimes it's okay to say hell no, because you are worth it. So again, I just want to thank you all for tuning in to the podcast Underneath the Hat. Make sure you go ahead and you subscribe and like the YouTube page Underneath the Hat Podcast. Also, check us out on Anchor, Overcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, and Pocket Cast, all podcast platforms. Make sure you share this. I'm sure we all have some people, that friends we listen to who vent about their family and they don't know what to do. Tell them to say hell no. Tell them to say hell no. It is really freeing. It really is. It is. So make sure you share this. You could be engaged, post questions and comments. Sow into the session if you would like to through Cash App or Zelle. And I just want to thank you all for being there to support me throughout these 4 years. And as we continue to wind down to March 18th, 2023, where the final episode of Underneath the Hat podcast will be posted, I just want to thank you for your support, because people don't have to be nice to you. They don't have to listen to you. They don't have to support you. So I appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule to listen to me talk to you about speaking over yourself. And also, as always, remember to take care of yourself underneath the hat. I will see you next week.